Major support for Do the Math has been provided by Chevron, the Kern County Superintendent of Schools, Edison International, Valley Strong Credit Union, Panama Buena Vista Union School District, and the Kern High School District. With additional production assistance provided by these supporters of education in Kern County and throughout the state of California.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to Do the Math. I'm Michael.
And I'm Scott.
And I'm Sam. For math homework help, call in Bakersfield 636-4357. Everywhere else, 1-866-636-6284. Our email is dothemath@kern.org. We're online at dothemathonline.net. And on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
All right, nicely done. So, Sam, where do you go to school and what grade are you in?
I go to Stockdale Elementary and I'm in 6th grade.
Do you have all of that social media stuff?
No.
I don't either. Do the Math has it all, but today's a big day for you.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to get this right out of the way right now because you volunteered to tell us what is the so big deal about today.
Today is my birthday.
Today is your birthday. So, I don't know if they have a little happy birthday song back there or not, but how about, Scott, you and I real quick? A 1 and a 2 and a 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Sam. Happy birthday to you. There you go. See, all we got those right. It's a good thing they didn't like this. We did too badly on
Ready for that.
Anyway, so how is 6th grade going?
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good. What's the worst thing about 6th grade so far? Because you've been in school for about a month or so. What's the worst thing about it? You're like, I wish they would do this or something different.
Well, we have like a weekly purple packet that I am not in love with.
Okay, the purple packet. You don't like the purple packet. What's in the purple packet?
It's like reading, like comprehension question.
Okay, so you're figuring once you got it, you got it. You just don't like keeping on doing it repetitively and stuff like that.
It's new every week.
Well, that's good that it's new every week.
Well, yeah.
Okay, so you put up with it, you deal with it.
Yeah,
You tolerate it. You're happy with it.
barely.
Everything's all cool though, because today's your birthday.
Oh, yeah.
All right, you ready to do a social media problem with me right now?
Sure.
Well, let's take a look at it at the monitor right up here. So this is one of the problems. They get posted on social media every day, and this is the problem of the day. 10 plus 8 times, and in parentheses, 12 minus 9. So Sam, when you look at that, what is the first thing you think we need to do?
Parentheses,
Why?
because of germ DOS.
Right, because of germ DOS. You know what? I'm very glad that you said that instead of PEMDAS, right? Because germ DOS is the new way where you group instead of just do parentheses. So we're going to do the parentheses first. So what does that give us?
3.
3. So now we have 10 plus 8 times 3. What comes next?
8 times 3.
8 times 3. Why that one first? Because usually you read from left to right. Don't we do math in order from left to right?
Well, yeah. No.
Well, why not?
Because of the germ DOS.
Oh, because of the germ DOS. So once we do grouping, we don't have any exponents or radicals, so we multiply, divide? That's where we're at. All right, so 8 times 3 again?
24.
So then what's next?
10 plus 24.
Is?
34.
So which one do you think it is?
I think it's A.
You think it's A?
I know it's A.
You know it's A. You confident in A?
I'm very confident in A.
You willing to bet on it?
I'm willing to bet all my money
That's
on
what
it.
I want to hear. That's a confidence right there, all right? You're betting on 34. Let's see if she's correct. Ah, there you go. First one done. Birthday luck right there with that problem. All right. Hey, don't forget that we do have phone tutors available most Tuesdays and Wednesdays throughout the regular school year between 3:30 and 5:30. Lots of different ways to get a hold of us. Sam told you about a lot of them. And don't forget, dothemathonline.net. That way, if you ever miss an episode and you remember, hey, I saw one of my friends on there, or I know they were talking about a math problem that I'm working on, you can always go back and check it out at dothemathonline.net. Time now for today's Math in the News. All right, today's Math in the News. Once again, we are fortunate enough to have somebody in studio, and with us today is Laura James. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm excellent. Thank you for being here. You are from the Los Angeles County Office of Education.
Yes.
And I've got notes here, but I'm going to try to do this once again without looking at the notes. The California County Education Technology Consortium.
Correct.
Or was I at least close enough?
You were dead on.
That's spot on?
Exactly.
There you go. So what is this consortium that you're a part of?
We are a statewide consortium of county offices across California, and our focus is to provide digital resources to schools, with especially visual resources, media.
Okay.
Many of our students are visual learners, and so this is a way of being able to provide the content to them in a way that speaks to them.
And this has been around since the 1980s.
Correct. So 1982, so over 40 years.
And is every county involved in this, or is it just certain counties?
It's just certain counties. So different counties will opt in depending on what services they provide to the districts that they serve. And so we have currently about 13 county offices across the state, going all the way down from San Diego County, and then we have all the way up to Northern California, Humboldt and Glenn County.
Okay. And how did you get involved in this? Was it because the office you work at, you are in this kind of a position and they said, hey, we want you to be part of this? And
So our county joined the consortium prior to my coming into the county office, and so we always had digital media that we shipped to schools, and as we had some budget cuts that we had to deal with, we lost our content evaluators, and so as a way of shoring that up in our office, we joined the consortium as a collaborative, because the work of the consortium, the different county offices were able to bring in resources, people resources that we no longer could afford because of budget cuts. And so
Okay.
the collaboration of the group is something that was inviting and welcoming to us, and to be able to also then continue to provide services to our schools.
so KETN is obviously part of Kern County Superintendent of Schools office, and you guys that are part of this consortium are able to use programming from KETN. Is that correct? Or
KETN,
in a roundabout kind of?
sort of, kind of. So,
Okay.
so the consortium will license the content that gets shared to all the counties
Okay.
in the state. And so KETN, being a member of the consortium, has access to the content
Gotcha.
that is licensed by the consortium.
And a lot of instructors probably know California Streaming, because I know I used it in my classroom, and we've got some up here right now. This is the homepage for California Streaming. And this is free to all educators.
No, it is a membership service.
Okay,
that-
well, I just take it for granted because I've always been using it.
Right. So it is a membership service, but the membership, the funds that we gather from the membership goes directly back into the product. We are not a for-profit as county offices of
Okay.
education, so it developing the product as well as licensing content so that we can provide those resources to
So
schools.
you're able to get on California Streaming, and I'm doing something in class, and I want to look something up to help enrich my class.
Correct.
And one of the things that we do actually in class is a stock market game.
Correct.
So we're going to look at,
So like, let's say you were trying to find some resources to help students invest money. So do an investing money search.
so we'll go investing money.
And so then what will happen is it'll search for titles that have either that in the title or have it in the keywords or even inside the description. In addition to the search results on the left side, you have filters. So let's say you're looking for a specific grade level, so maybe it's for the intermediate grade level, so you could then also even
Okay, so
choose
right
the
here.
grade levels, exactly, and then narrow your filters down.
And you can even go to the content standards and make sure that
Exactly.
whatever standard you're trying to get across, you're meeting it with whatever you're using off of here.
And so if you look like, say that third title that's up there, that's Money Matters, that would be probably a really good one that you could probably use for helping your students understand investment of money from the beginning. And so this particular title also has segments, which is a really nice way, because sometimes the videos, if you go ahead and click on the segments, and you'll see there's
okay.
different topics there, different.
So instead of
different-
watching all 18 minutes at once, you can just watch parts of it
Exactly.
based on what you're doing that day.
Exactly. So let's say you were talking about stock market. So
Right.
there's a segment there on stocks and bonds that you could go ahead and click on that particular title, that particular segment, and it'll just bring up that one piece, and then you would be able to watch that with your students to give them some background information on the stock market before you jump into teaching them.
There we go. And then they can just watch that video right there. And
Right. Right, and then if you were to scroll down to the bottom of that page below all the segments, if you're an instructor and you're using Google Classroom, you can share it direct to your Google Classroom, or the embed media, say you're using Canvas or Schoology, you can take that code and put it right
oh,
into your
perfect. Because I
online
know
class.
that I can't even imagine some classrooms not using Google Classroom, how easy it is, and I know we do. and I can just, that's as easy as it is
Exactly.
using this website.
Exactly, and then that way the kids don't have to log in. It's part of the assignment that you've already given them. They can go back in and watch it as many times as they need to and right into that.
Beautiful. So what else do we need to know about this consortium of yours?
What our consortium is a really great group, a collaborative group where we have a number of people who have strengths that maybe others don't have, and so we work really well together. Like, to be honest, it was scaring me to come up here to talk about math.
Come on, now,
because
I'm not all that
math
scary
is-
up here, right? I didn't even make you do any
it's
math
not
problems.
you, but it's math. Math is not my strength. I'm a history English teacher.
But
So-
you're not afraid of math. Because we don't want anybody to be afraid of math. Anybody can do math, right?
True.
Some people think that they've got to be fast in order to be good at math,
Correct.
and that is false.
Correct.
You just need to think deeply about it, take your time with it, right?
Sometimes. I'm actually not bad at math,
Okay.
but it's not my strength. However, we have other folks in the consortium who are stronger in math, or say science is really my scary subject. But we're able to build off of one another. And so even when we're going to look at content, a big part of what we do is license content that fits the standards. I'm not going to evaluate science content, but we have other people who
Okay.
can do that.
So you have an
And
expertise
so, right,
in one area, and that's
which really helps us in that we have all these strengths, and we're able to really go out there and find content that will meet the needs of our teachers, because we have folks that know that and have that expertise.
I know you're busy, and I want to thank you for taking some time to visit us today. Before I let you go, are there other states that do similar things to what you're doing in California?
Not that I know of. We are very
Right, because I think I was looking at the largest one in the country
Correct.
to provide these type of services. So I was wondering if anybody else even did it.
not that I'm aware of. We are special here in California, and we're very fortunate that we have such a great group to work together with and provide these resources to our teachers and students.
All right, well, you know what, Laura, thank you very much for taking out some time.
Thank you.
And I know you brought some folks from other counties. So what other counties are represented here today?
Today we have San Diego County, Madera County. I have another colleague here from LA, and of course Kern. And then we have some
Tuolumne?
Tuolumne County. He's out wandering about because I know he's been working with you guys to get his broadcasting up in his county. But we did have earlier today, we met and had some folks virtually on as well. So pretty much all of our county representation was.
Okay.
was
Well, you
there.
know what? Maybe he'll make his way out to the parking garage because I know we've got some stuff going on up there. As a matter of fact, we've got the Bakersfield Museum of Art visiting us today, and we're going to go and check out with those guys right now.
Hi, I'm Sam, and here we have Abby at the Bakersfield Museum of Art. And today she's got some group of kids that are going to be talking to you about Via Arte. So what are we going on today?
So today, in honor of Via Arte, coming up this October 21st and 22nd, it's going to be the 25th year of the Bakersfield Museum of Art putting on Via Arte, which takes place at the Marketplace on Ming Avenue in October. And there's usually over 100 artists out there doing chalk art on the ground, recreating masterworks. And there's also areas for kids to come out, and $25 gets you a 2x2 foot square to make your own art. And so today, in honor of that, we're going to be explaining some of the math on how we take a small image like this and blow it up big to this 5 foot by 5 foot piece that we'll be finishing together today.
All right, kids, are you excited? Yeah. Do you guys like to use chalk pastels? Yeah. Have you ever done Via Arte before? A couple of you? I've been there. You've done it before? Yeah? Never done it? All right, well, you guys are going to have a great time today, and thanks, Abby. And back to you, Mike.
Go. We'll check back in with these guys in a little bit right there. Do remember we have phone tutors available until 5:30 this afternoon, and it caught me off guard. I was trying to readjust my earpiece and stuff and being able to hear everything right there. And do you want to do a problem?
Sure.
Yeah, I think you ought to do a problem. So we're going to get to the phone problem in just a minute, but we're going to have you work on a problem really quickly. What I would like you to do, and this is going to be a multi-step problem, so we're not going to do the whole thing right now.
Okay.
What I would like you to do, Scott, is draw a grid and it's going to be numbered 1 through 6 along the top and 1 through 6 along the side. So,
Kind of like this.
yeah, but you're going to want to make it bigger.
Okay.
So probably more of the whole screen.
Okay. We can
Make sure you can leave 1 through 6 at the top and 1 through 6 at the bottom. So number it off and separate it,
Okay.
going 1 to 6 down,
Okay.
and then 1 through 6 going across. And then maybe just draw some lines in there to separate all of those different columns and rows.
Okay. Years and years of graphing without graph paper, right? All comes in handy at some point. What do you think, Sam? So far, so good? I got a
Pretty
little
good.
wave in there. I have some art in me as well. Since
Oh, yeah.
today's art day, then we have a little. Can't make them perfectly straight. That'd be no fun.
All right, so Sam, what I'd like you to do is I want you to imagine these as being dice. You're going to roll dice and you want to see what the outcomes are. So I'd like you to fill in all of that with what the outcomes would be. So if you roll a 1 and a 1, what would you get?
A 2.
Okay, so grab your marker, go ahead and put a 2 up there where the 1 and 1 intersect. And go ahead and put all of the numbers in.
Okay.
And if you want to discuss anything, you got Scott right there to chat with. Because this is going to be pretty simple to go through those.
Yeah, that's pretty straightforward, right? Maybe you're seeing. Oh, you're going backwards now because I think you're
Yeah.
already seeing the pattern, right?
Yeah.
Oh, even different pattern. So tell me where you saw that one coming. That's pretty good.
Well, the 7s go that way. And
Yeah.
If you do, so the
So you're looking at
6s
maybe combinations of numbers now, right? Not just
Yeah.
patterns going left to right, but combinations of numbers
Yes.
that equal the same.
3. That can be 4.
Nice.
5. 5.
So here's my question before you fill in the rest.
Yes.
Do you think that we'll have the exact same pattern over here? Will it flop over or will it be different?
I think it'll be the same.
Be a similar pattern, right?
Uh-huh.
But with just some different numbers, obviously,
Well,
because
yes.
they're going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So when you look at this pattern here, notice we only have 2 one time, then we have 3 twice, and we have 4 3 times. Maybe we'll have a similar pattern on this side, right? We like to see those patterns, especially in math, and that prepares you for algebra too. All right, go ahead. There's the 8 column, or 8 row, or 8 diagonal, or whatever you want
Yeah, I
to
was going
say.
to say,
Right?
you're going to have to be diagonal there,
Yeah, I
right?
guess so. Huh? I don't think we have anything there. Nope.
Okay. And that's 9.
Yep,
And this one should be 10.
you got it. So even without looking at the numbers, you're seeing the pattern. And we really like to do that in math, to see patterns even before you know what's happening. Because at some point, someone's going to say, well, if you roll 17 dice, what do you get? Whatever. And you're like, well, based on the pattern, I can figure out what's going on without having to draw out an entire chart. Not that there's anything wrong with drawing an entire chart, right? Nice job.
So we're going to leave that there. And Sam, why do you think a lot of people, when they roll dice, go, I'm going to use my lucky number 7? Why do you think they always go 7 is their lucky number?
Because they've had it multiple times.
Why?
How can you show on that 7 isn't just lucky?
Well, because it's the most possible.
Yeah, that's right. It has the most possibility. Out of all the possibilities, right? 7 comes up the most.
Yes.
And so it really is more likely that 7 is going to come up than any other one. So, I mean, if I'm going to pick a lucky number, I'm going to pick one that's going to come up more often, right? I'm not going to say it's my lucky number because then I'm more lucky.
Yes.
All right, so we're going to have some more to do with that in just a moment, but
All right.
we're going to leave that one up there right now. We do have phone tutors available until 5:30. Right now, we're going to go to the phones. And Abigail, how are you today?
I'm good.
Good, nice to hear from you. So, Scott, you may want to add a screen. There we go. All right, so Abigail, you are a 5th grade student at Wingland, correct?
Yes.
All right, as soon as you're ready, let's hear the math problem that you're working on.
Okay. Write an equation and a number that each power of 10 represents.
Gotcha. Okay. So do you have some examples already of what's going on in that problem?
10 squared. 10 squared.
Yeah, that's a power of 10, right? We have 10 to the 2nd power. What else?
10 with an exponent of 3.
Yep, 10 with an exponent of 3. That's a good one. Sure.
And then it goes down to 6.
Okay. So your base is always going to be the same, right? 10 to the, this would be the 4th, and we have to the 5th and 10 to the 6th. And the question is we want to come up with some kind of equation, is that right?
Yeah.
Gotcha. So it kind of goes back to the problem we were just doing a little while ago. We need to have a pattern. We need to establish some kind of pattern about what's going on. Let's see if we can evaluate a couple of these expressions and see if we can see a pattern of what's going on. Do you know what 10 to the second power is, or what does it represent?
100.
It does. Why does it represent 100?
Because it's 10 times 10.
There we go. So that's what's happening. We're actually writing 10 down twice. 10 times 10, 2 of them, and we end up with 100. What about 10 to the third power? What is that answer? Or what is that if you evaluate it? What do you get?
1,000.
It is 1,000, yeah. And can you tell me about the tens that we have in that problem? How many tens do you have?
3.
10 times 10 times 10, exactly right. And that goes along with the exponent as well. Let's do one more and we'll see if we can find any more patterns. And maybe once we find a pattern, we can figure out kind of what's going on. What's 10 to the fourth power?
10,000.
10,000, you got it, well done. And following our pattern, that means that there are 4 tens.
Yeah.
So following the pattern, of course, we could fill out the rest of 10 to the 5th and 10 to the 6th, and even if I asked you, you could probably do 10 to the 17th without even having to work it out because you could just follow the pattern, right? So the question is, at least in my mind, and maybe hopefully this will kind of go with whatever you're talking about here, 10, what if we had 10, this is strange, 10 to the x power, right? We don't know what that exponent is. We're going to call it x instead. We don't know what number's up there, okay? So let's look back at our pattern. When you evaluate this, 10 to the second power, how many zeros do you have?
2.
2, right. And when you evaluate 10 to the fourth power, how many zeros do you have in that problem?
4.
4, that's it, because it's 10 to the fourth. So if you had 10 to the x, right, we would write a 1, and how many zeros?
1.
We would write a 1 for sure, no doubt about that. But the exponent tells you how many zeros it would be. And it's a strange concept to kind of think about, but since you don't know what this number is, we put a letter in there, and it tells you how many zeros there are. We just have to figure out a way to write that. So we're going to have x zeros, right? That's what's going to happen there. If x was 5, we'd have 5 zeros. If x was 27, we'd have 27 zeros. So we want to be able to figure out what that means. It also goes along with the power of 10, right? We have a power of 10, and that means that that's how many 10s you're going to multiply together. So if you have 10 to the x power, if you have 10 to the x power, how many 10s does that mean that you're going to have? It's a strange thing to ask, I know.
1.
Definitely going to put a 1 there. But we're going to have, are you ready for this? We're going to have x 10s. Kind of a strange thing.
However many you want.
However many you want. You put any number you want in there.
Make it up.
You put any number you want in there, and you're going to have that many 10s. So you're going to multiply all those together. So I'm pretty sure that the question is asking you to be able to figure out a pattern, to be able to figure out what's going on in this problem. And the relationship that I think you're looking for is the exponent tells you not only how many 10s are being multiplied, but also how many zeros are in the answer.
So hopefully that helps you out, Abigail. And for calling in this afternoon, you've got yourself a pass to the Kern County Fair. So congratulations on that. That opens up tomorrow. So hopefully you have an opportunity to go out and check out some of the fun things to do at the Kern County Fair. Hey, we do have phone tutors available until 5:30 this afternoon. And we're going to do a little talking math about mean, median, and mode with Tess.
Hi, my name is Tessa and I'll be showing how to do mean, median, and mode. So the numbers I'll be using to demonstrate are 3, 5, 6, and 7. So what I'm going to do first is add all 4 of those numbers together, which equals 21. Then I divide that by the number of how many numbers there are, which is 4. And then I'll get 5.25, and that will equal the mean. Now I'm going to do the median, which is the number in the middle, but this isn't an odd number in this set, so what you do, you add the two numbers together, which is 11, and then you divide that by 2, which is 5.5, and that would be the median. And for the mode, that would be the number that occurs most often. And as you can see, that there's no numbers that occur most often in this problem. So you're gonna put as your answer none. 4, 7, 10, 10, and 11. So for this one, the mean, so I'll add all of those together, and that'll equal 42, and I'll divide 42 by 5. That'll equal 8.4. And for the median on this one, there are 5 numbers, and the middle number is 10. So that'll be the median. And then the mode, there are 2 10s in this problem, so 10 will also be the mode. And thank you for listening to how to do mean, median, and mode.
And big thank you right there to Tess, and a little bit of Let's Talk Math right there, where we have younger math students coming in and sharing their expertise on any math concept that they would like to share with us. So that was one of our many that we recorded over the summer, and I think they're just fabulous to have the kids come in and share their expertise with us. We have Sam, a 6th grade student from Stockdale Elementary, celebrating her birthday today. How old are you, 14, 15 years old?
12.
12, all right, I'm only kidding. So you're 12 years old. And you're on live TV today when you're 12 years old?
Doesn't get much better now.
That's pretty good.
Special.
So I see you've got the beret on today. So tell me a little bit about the beret. Is that just a fashion statement? Do you wear berets a lot? Because you're on TV and it's your birthday? And
No, I wear berets to my school site
all right.
when I go to your classroom.
Okay.
Because you did nickname me Frenchie.
That's right, because I saw you wearing berets around school, and you weren't in my class, but I was like, hey, Frenchie, you know, so anyway. All right, so let's go back to your previous screen,
Okay.
and we're going to take a look at the different outcomes. So how many times does the number 2 come up?
Once.
Okay, you have to remember that, okay? And if you want to write it down, maybe on the side, maybe 2 comes up once. How many times does 3 come up?
2.
So I want you to go all the way through, because you're going to get the numbers all the way down to 12.
Okay.
So start figuring out how many times each of them comes up. And let Scott know, and he'll write them in there, because you're going to need to know this in order for the next part of the problem.
4 is 3.
4 is 3.
5 is 4.
That's a funny thing to say, huh? 4 is 3 and 5 is 4. All right, go ahead.
6 is 5.
6 is 5.
And 7 is 6.
7 is 6. What the heck? So that means 8 must be 7.
Yes, that's true.
Is that true?
No.
Oh.
8 is 5.
So this is a wonderful pattern to see, and at the same time you have to realize the extent of the pattern, and the pattern changes, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's still similar, but it changes. All right, 8 is what?
5.
Oh.
9 is 4.
4.
10 is 3.
10 is 3. And then if we had to squish these ones in here, 11 and 12, right?
11 is 2.
2.
And 12 is 1.
1, gotcha. So
Okay,
we
so-
go from 1 to 6 and then back to 1.
Right, so you need to know those outcomes, how many times each of those outcomes comes up. So let's go to your new board.
Okay?
So you now are going to have a set of dice. One of the die can have no numbers larger than 4.
Oh.
So you know it's a 6-sided die, so some numbers are going to come up more than once. No number can be higher than 4. The other die, the 6th die, can have whatever numbers you need on them. Okay? So you know the first one is going to have a combination of 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s, but you're not sure how many of each. And the other
Okay.
die can have whatever numbers you want. It doesn't have to be the traditional 1 through 6. But you have to make a pair of dice so that when you roll them, only 12 will come up once. And 2 will only come up once.
Okay.
You got the idea? Start thinking about it and start putting in some numbers.
So we want to make sure we know the parameters here, right?
Yes.
Number 2 can only come up once. And what's the other number that can come up once?
12.
12. 12 can come up once.
And the other rule, remember, one of the die can only be up to 4.
Gotcha.
No number can be higher than 4 on the first die. The second number can have any numbers you want. I like this. He's thinking. That's exactly what we wanted to do, is think. So start thinking out loud, Sam, and talk to Scott about what would you like to start with.
Well, I think a 1 for maybe the dice that can go up to 4.
Okay, so we have up on the top, we have up to 4, right? That's
Yes.
this part right here.
Okay.
And over here, we have any,
Okay.
right? So there's our parameters there. Do we have any other parameters about the other numbers inside? Are there anything else we need to know about that problem?
Well, if you have to get to 12 once, then you might want to take the highest one so that when you go to the any, you can go, well, if you go up to 4, you can put 4 for the 12 because it is the highest.
It is the highest, no doubt about that.
Or
That
you-
probably should be the 12, right?
Yeah.
The interesting part is, well, I'm going to let you keep on talking. I really like the way you're thinking about this. All right.
And the 2 can be the 1, and the any can also be a 1.
So because we have so many choices over here for the any side, let's
Yeah.
leave that for a minute. What do you think the
Okay.
numbers can be in the up to 4? Because then we can adjust the any numbers. We can make them smaller or bigger, right?
I have one question. Can the any number be 0?
You think you can put a 0 on a die?
No.
Probably not so much. I guess you could have a blank side.
Well, yeah.
So, an interesting question. Let's say you roll the 2 die and you have a 1 and a 0.
Yeah.
You'll come up with a 1.
Yes.
Yes.
Is the 1 even a possibility that we want?
So that's the question. Do we need
No.
to have these
You
combinations
have to have
come up?
exactly the same number of combinations.
All the
as-
other ones the same. So
Right.
3 is a 2.
Right.
Oh, interesting. And
So the
4 is a
2
3.
Yes.
You have to roll a 2, but there can only be one way to possibly get it. What is the only way you can possibly get a 2?
1 and 1.
So you know you're going to have a 1 and a 1 on each of those axes.
Yes.
Okay.
So there's your start.
Let's at least fill in that part, right? A 1 and a 1. Okay, what does that equal?
2.
You better put that one in. Okay, we only have 35 more squares to go. And we
So-
know that all the rest of them got to be the same too, right? So we have 5 was 4, and 6 was 5, and 7 was 6, and then it went down again from there, right? So 8 was 5, and 9 was 4, and 10 was 3, and then we got to squish that 11 in there, was 2, right? That goes right in there. So there's all the combinations again, right from the other chart, but the number is going to be different. So we got the 1 part.
So I'm going to give you one more minute to keep thinking about it. You're going to have
Okay.
plenty of time.
Sure.
But in order for us to get to the other stuff, I'm going to have you work on this for one more minute.
Right, no doubt. So let's see what else can possibly. Do you want to go to the other extreme?
The other what?
The other extreme?
We could try the 12. So if we put a 4 over here,
Okay.
then we would have to have an 8.
You have to have an 8. That's the only way you're going to get a 12, huh?
Yes.
Do it. I like it.
Here's the 12.
We're down to 34 more squares to fill out. Although we can fill
But-
out this one. What's that one?
Well, that one would be 9.
It would be 9. Go ahead and put a 9. And what about this one?
A 5.
Uh-huh.
Good. So now you've got the
got
corners,
some
filled
corners.
in. And this is going to be a good strategy because
Yeah.
you want to get those extremes out of the way.
Right.
All right? So because you're doing some excellent thinking right now, and I know you're going to finish this problem, you can get yourself a meal courtesy of our friends at Broken Yolk Cafe. So congratulations on that. So right now, we're going to leave those screens the way they are. You're going to need to add a screen though, Scott.
Okay.
Because we're going to go back to the phones right now. And Azure, how are you today? Hello, Azure.
Hi.
What grade are you in?
Second.
All right. Well, I'm very glad that you called in today. What is the math problem that you're working on?
30 plus 13.
And Azure, what do you want to do with this problem? Is there a specific way that makes it easier for you to work out?
I'm not really sure.
Well, it'd be nice if we had a picture, right? Like if we had a whole bunch of chickens, like 30 chickens and 13 chickens, you could put them all together and you can count them up, right? That'd be kind of nice to be able to see what's going on. It would take me a really long time to draw chickens, though. So we want to have something a little easier to draw and easier to group as well. We want to be able to put things together in groups that you can understand, okay? So how about just squares? You okay with squares?
Yeah.
Okay, so if I'm going to draw 30 squares, okay, it's going to take me a while to draw them individually. Can you think of a way that I can draw these 30 squares that are going to be a little easier to draw and easier to understand? How would you group 30 squares? In groups of how many?
I would probably,
Well, I'll tell you what, how many fingers do you have?
10.
10. That's a great number. I like it. So let's make a couple groups of 10 squares. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Okay.
9, right? I'm going to make 3 groups of 10 squares because that's what we have here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, they're a little bit more like rectangles, but again, the folks who are really good at art today are in the parking lot. So there's our 3 groups of 10 squares, all right, or 10 small rectangles. What about the other side? We have 13 small individual squares, right? And I could take the time to draw all those squares. But if I was going to draw a nice big column of squares like I did on the other side, how many of those columns would I have in 13? The number is right here before the 3. What's that number before the 3?
10.
Yeah, it is 10. That's right. I'm so glad you didn't say 1. It's actually a 10 because it's in the tens column. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have another column with 10 boxes in it. And then one more small column over here with 3 boxes in it. That's your 13. So if we're adding them together, the nice part is exactly what you said. We can take this group of 10 and add it to the other groups of 10. Azure, how many groups of 10 do we end up with? We had 3, and we're adding one more.
4.
That's it. You got it. So we got 4 groups of 10, and we still have these other 3 hanging out over here. So we're just going to keep that on the end. That's one visual representation of a way to add these things together. I'm glad you called in today.
Yeah, nicely done, Azure. Thanks for that phone call and for phoning in today. You've got yourself a pass to the Kern County Fair, so congratulations on that. Fair opens tomorrow. It'll be open, I think it's about a week and a half. I think they keep this thing open, right? Something like that. So anyway, plenty of time for you to go out. Weather's even cooperating a little bit right there. Let's find out what's going on at NASA this week.
A new long-duration space flight record. Our SpaceX Crew 6 mission is back home, and our asteroid sample return mission is on target. A few of the stories to tell you about this week at NASA. On September 11th, NASA astronaut Frank Rubio completed his 355th day on board the International Space Station, surpassing the record for the longest single spaceflight by a U.S. astronaut, which was previously held by NASA's Mark Vande Hei.
Frank, you've made all kind of records.
Agency leadership congratulated Rubio on the accomplishment during a call to the station. By the time Rubio returns home on September 27th, he will have spent about 371 days in space. The crew of our SpaceX Crew 6 mission is back home after spending about 6 months on the space station. On September 12th, a few crew members, including NASA astronauts Steve Bowen and Woody Hoberg, talked about the mission during a news conference at our Johnson Space Center. The highlights of the flight included Bowen's U.S. record-tying 10th career spacewalk. Our OSIRIS-REx spacecraft recently made a course adjustment to better position itself to release a capsule carrying sample material from asteroid Bennu toward the designated landing zone in the Utah desert. The capsule is scheduled to make a parachute-assisted landing on September 24th. OSIRIS-REx is the first U.S. mission to collect a sample from an asteroid. According to our Goddard Institute of Space Studies, the summer of 2023 was our planet's hottest summer since global records began in 1880. June through August was a combined 0.41 degrees Fahrenheit warmer than any other summer in NASA's record. This new record comes as exceptional heat has swept across much of the world, exacerbating deadly wildfires, resulting in searing heat waves, and likely contributing to severe weather. For more details, visit nasa.gov/Earth. That's what's up this week at NASA. For more on these and other stories, follow us on the web at nasa.gov/Twan.
Always interesting stuff going on this week at NASA. Also interesting stuff going on in the parking garage here at KCSOS. Let's head back out to Sam and see what's going on with the Museum of Art.
All right, thanks, Mike. All right, we're back here with the kids and Abby. We're working on our Via Arte piece. So you can see they are hard at work down here, getting all their colors laid down. And we're going to talk with Abby about how they're using a grid and how she took this picture and blew it up to this size. So let's go over here and check out her picture. So she has her picture here that they're doing. And then tell me a little bit about how you've broken up this grid and then blown it up for the kids so they can be able to use it.
So in chalk drawing and street painting, a lot of times you go from a very small image like this, which is just over 9 inches on each side, and what they're working on is now 5 feet by 5 feet. And sometimes the professional squares can go over 15 feet in any direction. So starting with a reference, you can really end up getting your scale mixed up if you don't do your math and your prep work properly. So one of the methods that artists use is they use a grid. So as you will see, I've made a grid here, and it matches the grid that we've drawn out, that you can see the blue lines running through the image. So because this was a 5 foot by 5 foot square, we divided it into 1 foot by 1 foot squares. That made 5 across and 5 down. So we need to get this image now to have 5 squares down and 5 squares across. So the math that you have to do is to take the width and the height, which in this case is thankfully the same number since it's a square, but you need to divide that by 5. Once you have that, you break it up into your grid and you line it up. And now, instead of looking at a whole big image and trying to make it massive, you can just focus on one little square at a time. So the kids each got a section of, some of them are working with sections of 4 by 4, but it's still broken down. And that helps them be able to just focus on one area at a time without being overwhelmed by the big scale increase.
So Abby, how did you tell them to begin to use the chalk?
So for the chalk that they're using, it's not quite normal sidewalk chalk. They're called soft pastels. So their pigment is a lot richer, which is how we get such bright colors. And they first just scribble some color down, and then they lightly rub it in with their hands to blend it out. And that gets more coverage of color, and it helps them blend colors together, like you see up where the green and the yellow are meeting. It's a nice, smooth transition.
So once they finish just doing this top layer right here, what's the next part? With just adding maybe the more details or the colors blending to make some more value, things like that?
Yes, so right now we're just getting started with some color blocking, and then we'll go in and we'll add some shades and values, especially with the color black and chalk. A little bit goes a long way, so it's good to save that till the end, or else you end up with a big muddy mess.
Big old mess, yeah.
So they're doing a great job laying down all of the bright colors, and then we'll go through and add in some shading and any bright white spots at the end.
Okay. And so each student, they have their own little section that they'll be working on, right?
Yes.
And then I think they all got covered, right?
Yes, we might fill in the bottom few spots here at the end, but we're making really great progress.
Looks wonderful. So have you done this before at the Via Arte? Yeah, you're doing a great job. Really doing great filling it all in, and I love seeing all the line and the bright colors. All right, so I think we'll stop here, and then we'll see you back in just a little while. All right, back to you, Mike.
All right, thanks for that, Sam, and also thanks, Ab, for the Bakersfield Museum of Art and all its supplies doing that Via Arte on top of our parking garage right there. And it looks like they're having a lot of fun, and she was talking about a big muddy mess, and I'm sure the kids will be all cool with that too. But it will look beautiful, I'm sure, when we check in with them one last time. Let's check in with Sam on her birthday, and all right, so you've got it filled in. Explain to me what you did.
Explain to me what you did.
Well, I kind of winged it.
You did wing it, but I knew there was some thought going on. Because if
Yeah.
you really were going to wing it, you'd have like 47 up there. Right?
Yeah.
And it wouldn't work at all. So there's definitely some thought that went into your winging it.
Okay.
Tell me about the top row, first of all.
So
We had the corners that initially when we left, right?
Yes.
So you knew there had to be a 1 here, had to be a 4 here. How'd you decide to have 2 2s and 2 3s instead of like 3 2s and 1 3?
Well, I decided to have. At first, it was just that one. So I decided to have that one because it would make the 3.
Right.
And we needed 2 3s.
Gotcha.
And if I put a 3 there, then I could get a 4 and a 5.
And so you really what you look like to me you did is you added one number at a time, one
Yes.
number to the top row and one number to the side column at a time. Not the whole entire top row first, but one number at a time
Yes.
to try to make these totals, right?
Uh-huh.
Now, why did you skip a 2 on the left-hand column?
I think it's because I had both of my 3s already.
Yes.
And if I had another 2, it would go with that one and make another one, but there's only 2 3s.
Right. So this chart over here was good in helping you monitor where your numbers were going, right?
Yes.
And then the last part, again, you look down at the left-hand side and you skipped a 7.
Yeah.
What if you put a 7 in there? Could you have put a 7 in there and moved them all up and not had a 3? Would that have worked?
No. Because if that 3 wasn't there, then that 4 would have gone and there would have been too many 6s.
It would have really thrown everything off, huh?
Yeah.
So, ready? I don't want to blow your mind too much, but think about this. If I said you have to have a 7 in that left-hand side, you have to have it, and maybe you go down to 4, right? 7, 6, 5, 4. Do you think you might be able to? I'm not saying you do it, but do you think you might be able to change the top to make it work?
Probably.
Probably. It's nice to be able to have some choices, top and bottom, right? Or left and right. Maybe we can have 3 3s and a 2 or something fun like that. So there's different ways to do it, but the way that you went about it certainly met the criteria, right? And going one number at a time, you were able to cross things off as you go. And then, of course, the more you fill in on the row and the more you fill in on the column, the more of the chart you can fill in as well. Tell me about a pattern you see here. We saw a visual pattern on the previous one, right?
Yeah.
So if we look at the previous one real quick, we saw this pattern 7s and 6s and 8s and everything went exactly diagonal. That's not the case in this new one. Tell me a pattern you see.
So I see this pattern. It almost looks like stairs to me.
Yeah? Can you draw it out for us real quick?
Oh, yeah. Where if I go 7, and then I go to that 7,
Yep.
and that 7, and that 7, and that
So
7.
there's still a pattern. It's nice that it ends and begins wherever you start, right? The same way,
Yes.
right? There's 2 in a row, 2 in a row, 1 and 1 separately. What other
Yeah.
patterns do you see here?
Well, I see the 8s, the stairs again,
Oh, same thing, yeah.
and the 6s. But now, oh, that didn't.
Almost. You wanted it to be there, huh?
I did.
Got to have the 5 though.
Yep.
So there definitely is a pattern. It's just kind of all shifted,
Yes.
right?
But if you look at the 9s.
If you look at the
there's-
9s,
There's one over here.
whoa, that's a crazy pattern.
Yeah. But
So if you can not look at the top, don't look at the top, don't look at the top. Here's your pattern of 9s, right? If you were going to look at the top, what's the number you think should have a pattern the same way? Up at the top.
the
Because here's your 9s.
The
and then,
4s.
whoa, over there. Yeah, 4s right above there, right? Or
Yeah.
5s. 4s or 5s? What do you think? Here's your 5s with the 5 over here.
Okay.
So we had a couple other random ones that worked, but they didn't connect anymore.
Yeah, but they that side mirrors that side.
That's right. So we still have some symmetry in this, and we love symmetry in mathematics. In fact, we love symmetry as human beings, right? We love to see butterflies with the same wings on both sides. In fact, we like to see people with the same thing on both sides of their faces, right? 2 ears and 2 eyes and 2 nostrils and all that fun stuff.
Well, easy now. Let's talk about making people unique.
It's
also now,
great.
because
There's nothing wrong with being unique, but it's just kind of how nature's created. And so
I'm
there
only
really is some
getting into this,
mathematics
Scott.
in nature that we like to see. And it really is pleasing to our eye as people. We like to see that. You know, just like the art is, right? You can have abstract art that's also pleasing, but symmetry is something that kind of naturally is something that attracts us, I think.
Right. Just like when you see different things, you might see patterns somewhere, and you'll be like, I kind of see a face in there.
Right. Right.
It's just something that you naturally see all the time.
Yep.
So Sam, I've got a couple of questions for you. Did you have to think a little more on that problem than you normally do on some other problems?
Oh, yes.
Oh, good. That's exactly what I wanted. Do you have any idea what was happening as you were doing that thinking and struggling?
My brain was growing.
What?
My brain was growing.
Your brain was growing, right? Because we did go over that in class, because in order for your brain to grow and those synapses to fire and expand, you need to struggle. And that's exactly what you did. So you can be happy and rest assured that on your 12th birthday, you struggled, and you know at least one thing happened on your birthday. Your brain grew because of the struggle we made you go through right there. As a matter of fact, we're not going to let you struggle anymore right now. We're actually going to go check out some careers in the state parks.
California, the most beautiful state in the Union with its stunning sun-kissed shorelines and celebrated mountain ranges, has the nation's largest state park system with hundreds of miles of coastline, nearly 1,000 miles of lake and river frontage, and 45,000 miles of trails. Protecting these resources, preserving the state's extraordinary biological diversity, and creating opportunities for high-quality outdoor recreation is what it's all about at California State Parks.
My name is Mireya Gutierrez. I'm a senior park aide at Prairie Creek Redwood State Park, and I'm living the park's life.
My name is Emmett Harden. I'm a docent at Colonel Allensworth State Historical Park, and I live the park's life.
My name is Robin Chase, and I am a state park interpreter for Hearst San Simeon State Park, and I live the park's life.
We want you to join our team. State Parks invites potential candidates who are reflective of California's diverse population and love the outdoors to come live the park's life by working in one of our 280 state parks. We pride ourselves on protecting our resources, not only natural and cultural, but people too. We save lives. California State Parks peace officers and lifeguards ensure a safe, high-quality outdoor experience for everyone. From off-highway motor vehicle enthusiasts and boaters to campers and hikers, from caring for the state's historical landmarks and ongoing environmental sciences to maintenance, conservation, and education. Come help us make a difference. We at California State Parks are passionate about preserving our precious state resources for all to enjoy. This is more than just a fulfilling, evolving career. It's a way of life. We live the park's life, and so can you. There are a wide variety of employment opportunities across many disciplines, including interpretation, education, recreation, law enforcement, cultural or natural resources, administration, operations, or facility management. We are proud of our commitment to develop the fullest potential in all our employees and provide leadership development to prepare our diverse staff for future challenges.
We live the park's life.
California State Parks employees like what they do. Job satisfaction is high because we know we're on a rewarding path that makes a difference. Come make a difference with us.
We live the park's life. My name is Rachel Marty Taylor. I'm an office technician, and I'm living the park's life.
We invite you to live the park's life by joining our State Parks team. Visit livetheparkslife.com to get your California State Parks career started today.
There you go. If you like the outdoors, nothing better than living the park's life right there. Hey, we have one more opportunity to go check out on the upper part of the parking garage and check in with Sam and see how the Via Arte kids are doing.
All right, thanks, Mike. All right, we're back here with Abby and the kids, and they're working hard on their chalk drawing down here on the ground. And so Abby, let us know like how far have they gone? What else do they need to finish here?
Yeah, they're making great progress. We've even got quite a bit of detail work going on in the fox that's in the center. His face is getting started and there's shading happening in the rest of his body. So they're doing a really great job using that black to add in shadows and getting all of those values in his face, since it's a very detailed little face going on right there.
And so when you're out at Via Arte, like this concrete right here, it feels like it's a little bit rough maybe. So is the concrete at Via Arte a little bit smoother to work with?
Yes, so at Via Arte we use the parking lot at the marketplace. And so it's the typical black asphalt. And before we go out, a few days before, a whole new layer gets put down, so it covers up the painted lines, and it's just a nice slicker surface to work with.
Yeah.
Everyone still typically wears gloves to protect their hands, but it's a little bit softer and colors actually blend even better out there than they are here.
Yeah. Well, and I see like you have the students on some cardboard, so if kids are getting them involved in this, like some things to maybe to get prepared for. I see you have knee pads.
Oh yes, yeah. Anyone that's been out there a lot always knows cardboard and knee pads and pads to sit on are your best friend, no matter your age, but especially if you've got older knees.
All right.
Knee pads are your friend.
And if anyone wants to get involved in Via Arte, how do they go about that?
So if you're above the age of 18, you can apply to be an artist through the Bakersfield Museum of Art website. If you are under 18, we have what are called Bambino squares, and they're for sale during the event. And they are 2 foot by 2 foot squares, and for $25 you get your own square and a box of chalk to go with it to create whatever you want.
That's great.
So that is a great time, and of course kids and Kids at Heart are welcome to do Bambino squares.
Right.
And there will also be high school groups out working as well.
Right. And then is it all judged at the end?
So there are judges for the high school section and the professional section. They are judged separately, but the Bambino area is just for fun.
All right. So with this, what is if people wanted to get involved, is there a website or?
Yeah, so it's all through the Bakersfield Museum of Art.
Okay.
So you can go there, and all of the upcoming Via Arte information is listed online. We are also always looking for sponsors, and that deadline hasn't hit yet, but I know it's coming up in a few weeks here. And so sponsors, they basically donate their money to the museum, and that money goes towards a square for an artist to create their work on the professional side.
That's wonderful. All right, well, I think that we're done here, and if the kids aren't quite finished yet here, but we're gonna be coming back here. If you wanna see the finished product, you can go onto our social media page here at the Do the Math social media page, maybe the Bakersfield Museum of Art Do the Math page, but we will show you the end product. So back to you, Mike.
Thanks for that, Sam, and also thanks to all of the kids doing some hard work out there. And a big thank you to Sam coming in on her birthday, doing some excellent work today. And you are now our newest ambassador. So you need a uniform. So let's see your uniform. We'll put it right up there to camera 3. There you go. Do you know what it means to be an ambassador?
Like almost it's in the government.
You can be in our government, the math government, right?
Or like country to country.
All right. Well, you know what? You're simply going to let people know about Do the Math. Can you do that? So when you wear your shirt, you wear it around, people are like, hey, what's that? And you tell them about the show and what you did. Sound good?
Yeah.
Deal?
Deal.
Especially on your birthday.
Especially.
There you go. Hey, until we meet again, continue to do the math.
Major support for Do the Math has been provided by Chevron, the Kern County Superintendent of Schools, Edison International, Valley Strong Credit Union, Panama Buena Vista Union School District, and the Kern High School District. With additional production assistance provided by these supporters of education in Kern County and throughout the state of California.